rescheduled regular school board meeting today, April 21st, 2014 at 6:03 p.m. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Davenport.
Present.
Dr. Elamine.
Here.
Mrs. Green.
Here.
Ms. Howard.
Here.
Mrs. Jones.
Present.
Mr. Casali.
Present.
Mr. Stevenson here.
Thank you. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum to proceed with our meeting, and we have a special guest this evening. I'll turn you over to Board Member Green.
Okay, for the pledge tonight, Angel Lee is a third grade student in Mrs. Ali's class. She has two brothers that attend Rickover Junior High School. Angel enjoys baking and doing art and crafts. Angel is the Village of Sauk Village sticker finalist for Sauk Village. Her design will be the Village of Sauk Village for the 2014-2015 year. How about that? Come up, Angel. Here.
Okay, we can all rise for the pledge. You'll lead us, we'll follow you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And congratulations again on the sticker. I'll be getting a couple of those. We have something special for you from Board Member Green.
Certificate of Appreciation and Recognition of reciting the Pledge of Allegiance before the Community Consolidated School Board, School District 168 School Board, Angel Lee, April 28, 2014. Okay, pictures, mom, dad, brothers.
Angel's gonna get one.
Angel with the superintendent.
How you doing? Good deal. All right, ready? There. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Very good.
All right. Yeah. Brothers?
Move it over there some. No.
Oh.
Move.
There you go.
There you go. Good.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. Very good.
Okay. Moving on to item 3A, presentations. I'm going to turn you over to the hands of our superintendent regarding Raptor Visitors ID. We've already had months ago a presentation from Lobby Guard. So the board requested more information and wanted to hear from another company. So this is the other company that Mr. Travellini will update you.
Yeah. Raptor will be here in May. But I did send you the quote, and then I sent you a bunch of information, questions, answer kind of things, and how they roll out. Last month, you had asked me what were some of the uphill battles with rolling this out with the community, and what the districts have said around us was the first year was the hardest. There were several parents who did not have an ID, but they never told a parent they couldn't come to the school. So when a parent came, if he or she did not have an ID, what they did is they would call the teacher out to a conference room or call the child out to the conference room, and then the parent was able to ask the question or talk about whatever they needed to talk about. So it's not where they said, if you don't have an ID, you can't enter our building. So there was like a 1 year of getting together. They said the second year, parents would walk in and say, oh, I left my purse in the car, I have to go get my ID. You know, it's like they accepted the program, they understood how it went. Faculty are looking forward to it because faculty feel a whole lot better when they know that front office has verified people who are coming in. And this is not only for our community, but it's for any worker who comes in. So if somebody comes in from Comcast, if a plumber comes in from a plumbing company, if a contractor comes in, and if they cannot show us that their employee has had a background check, then what we do is we slide it through real quick and verify people who come into our school. So everybody will be verified as to who they are when they come in. Were there any questions that the board might have of me from looking at the handout that went there? And like I say, next month, somebody from Raptor will either be here or it'll be a phone kind of a conference if they can, because she's out of state.
Mr. Casal.
And I will say Rapture is the largest company who works with school districts. They have more school districts than any other company that's out there.
Mr. Casale.
Is the decision being made that the Raptor is the choice, or are
No.
we going to have
No.
a beat out?
No, they're
No,
not.
Lobby Guard that I was just discussing came here a few months ago. I think they were like $6,000. That's what Bloom Trail uses. And they gave us all the information, and I still have mine. I actually brought my bag just in case we wanted, if the Raptor was gonna be here, to do a comparison, but we all received it in our packet, and they brought a nice packet when they came to present it, but they were only one company. So we asked Mr. Travelini to go out and look again, and give us someone else to look at, and that's how Raptor came about.
So you said 6,004?
Yeah, that was the ones with the labels.
Right.
Remember, they were gonna get the
This
machine
does
and
the
the
same
labels
thing.
and
They
run.
do the same thing.
It's the same thing? Okay.
Is that for the equipment?
The equipment, but they would give us the upfront labels, and then eventually we would keep up, you know, with the rest of the labels. I can't remember the exact one. I had to pull it out of my bag. Dr. Elamine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One quick question. You said they're out of town, so do they have offices here? Because we would need to
Yes,
be
and
able
then
to
there's
reach them,
24/7 availability.
except for when we need them to come to a board meeting?
Something had come up last minute. And it's sales. Yeah, remember, sales isn't as large as their customer service base. Sales department's not as large.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any more questions regarding?
Is that the only other one that will do? Is Rapture? So Rapture and Lifeguard are the only two?
Right, that's the only two that I went to.
Okay. Does anyone else have any more questions? Or for me, if they're gonna come out next month, are we looking as a board to just hear them again and actually hear directly from them, even though we have the material? And then everyone, if you have not shredded your lobby guard information, we can bring that back forward so that we can do a comparison before we vote. I think that would be, but I know I still have mine. I don't know if you all still have your lobby guard. And then we can do a comparison before we vote. The question would be, would we just want to do that discussion and then wait until the June meeting for vote? Or would you all be interested in looking at both and going forward with an action item? I'm just asking for agenda purposes. Mr. Casali.
What are you voting for? You voting to have it beat out, or you voting to give a contract to somebody? Which one?
To give a contract to someone. The board did not direct Mr. Travelini to bid out. It was just to ask to bring us someone else outside of lobby guard to look at.
So do anyone know or have an idea of how much it's going to be in total? Because you have to follow some guidelines as to certain dollar amount that you must bid out.
I think we do have, I think it's 25,000. The minimum 25,000. And even with lobby guard saying 6,000, that's not enough for us to bid out.
It is 6,000?
Yes.
Because I know that once they know it's 25,000, you can bid 24,999, and they got the contract.
Right. And I don't believe Rapture is 25,000 either, but I know our minimum is bidding for 25. Bidding out is 25.
All right, just keep that in mind.
Okay. Okay. Any more discussion? So next board meeting, it will be a discussion, not an action item. Moving on to item A, Sauk Village video. Will be in the hands of our mayor, Mr. David Hanks and Mr. Travelini, or you're not ready?
The person will be calling us around 6:30, and then we could do a phone, they wanted to do a phone conference with the board,
Okay.
because they could not make it
So we'll keep moving, and at 6:30, wherever we are, we'll take it. But can you explain what this is with the video? There are two videos going for, that was why I wanted to hand it over. The mayor was here to speak for himself, because from my understanding, there are two videos, Sauk Village videos. For sake of time, Mr. Mayor Hanks, would you like to explain to the board?
Sure, we have a professional company that's looking at Sauk Village. They're going to be coming out, they're going to be doing videos. We've asked them to point out, especially like our school board, they'll probably talk to you about certain things that they want, you want videotaped, the schools, the board. We've got them going out and looking at businesses so we can get the video. It's a marketing material for our village. It's done by a professional company. They're probably going to tell you that if there's anyone that's inside the video, you have to sign waivers. So you have to decide if you're going to do something at school and you have kids present. Everyone that's in that video has to have a waiver signed. Again, it's something that's going to be great for our community, so that we can try to bring not only just businesses to Sauk Village, but try to bring residents come and move to our community.
Okay. Mr. Casali.
Well, this is my first time that I'm really aware of this, because I don't think that I know of this video thing coming. It's someone that just decided when approached to just put this on the agenda and don't discuss with us and make a decision for us. But my question to the mayor is, what are we marketing out? What is the marketing stuff?
It's just about Sauk Village. We want to highlight what we have great about our community. We want to highlight our school board, we want to highlight our schools, local businesses in our community, residents that want to be on there. So it's just something that someone can go to a website, to our village website. You can even put it on your school board website and you click on Sauk Village. It's just kind of like if I call it marketing, but it's pretty much just a review of what the village is. For someone who's looking to move in this area, maybe from out of state, they can go there and say, I want to move to Sauk Village, and it kind of gives them a brief description. Again, the timing on the video, I don't have exactly how long it's going to be, but again.
Thank you, sir.
Vice President Jones.
At whose expense and what's the cost for this?
No cost to the village right now. There's no cost at all. They came to us. What they do is they try to get local businesses to pick up some of the costs, because of course local businesses will have be on these videos. So they go out and they reached out to get all the funding. So it's at no cost to the village.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
What they wanted to do is look at the grounds at our schools, inside and out. So if somebody is looking to move to Sauk Village, they wanted to see the condition of our schools and what we had to offer, gymnasiums, our labs that we have, rolling carts, I mean, kinds of things that would sell. And a person would say, they're up and coming, and we would like to be a part of that school district. Because I will tell you that school districts draw people moving to an area.
Okay, are there any more questions regarding the video Sauk Village? So at 6:30, in about 13 minutes, we will come back while we're doing our reports. I'd like to move to item 3B, correspondence. Mr. Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Madam President, we have one, and this addressed to superintendent, administrators, and Board of Education. It is a thank you from the Lucko and Danish family. Thank you so much for the beautiful flowers. They went with him on his final trail ride. Sincerely, the Lucko and Danish family.
Okay, wonderful. Item 4, committees, delegate reports. A, finance. Our finance chair.
We met this evening at 5 o'clock in the conference room. As of April 23rd, 2014, the vouchers awaiting payment by the comptrollers for our school district is $343,000.33. And please note the comptroller's office is relatively up to date with only vouchers for late March and April awaiting process. Our fund balance as of March 2014 is $18,136,148.65. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Boardman Howard. We're going to move on to items B and C, our scope and OMA officer, Dr. Elamine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Two things for scope. One, there's a dinner that we get scheduled for May 12th. I do have 5 out of 7 board members have RSVP'd for that. If you have not, please see me. Also, we have an action alert that came out on the 25th to call your state senators to oppose Bill SB 3004. And this bill, they say, would limit the ability of school districts to issue out school suspensions and expulsions. And they believe that districts must retain the ability to deter harmful behavior and ensure that students and staff are safe at school. More specifically, if the proposed legislation passes, a student, if a student has committed an act of gross disobedience or misconduct, that's the criteria for out-of-school suspension. And if a student continues to pose an ongoing threat, only in the physical, but this does not include electronic means. So any bullying or anything that happens in the electronic world does not go underneath this bill. So they're asking us to call and oppose it. That concludes my report for scope, and I have nothing at this time for OA.
Great, thank you very much. Moving on to item D, speed, Vice President Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No report at this time.
Okay. Item E, Vice President Jones, Chair Committee for Policy.
We have back on the agenda again for approval for the board updates to press. And that is all.
On the policy, there were some that required immediate reaction and then some required table.
Yes, some of them are mandates that we have no say-so, and the others had to go out for 30 days for renewal.
Thank you. Based upon that, item F, I'd like to make a motion to place on the table for first reading press policies for February 2014 as presented. So second. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item 5. We'll have just one moment. It will be our superintendent report. He's coming right back. All set for you, Mr. Travellini.
Yes, you know what I did? I lost my, all my notes.
No, you didn't.
Where they?
He stole them.
No, it's not talking.
Well, then we'll move on to Director of Instructional Services, Special Service. No, we'll move on to, Director of Instructional Services, Mr. Scott Strong.
Thank you. Yes, if you take a quick look at the agenda here, item 12, discussion of new business, letters E and F. It is concerning bilingual. And I've been talking about this all year, and it's time for it to be on the agenda now. And I put a memo out to the board at the beginning of this month. We now have 13 ESL students in 2nd grade at Wagner, and 11 3rd and 4th grade ESL students at Strasburg. So when we combine those, obviously we get more than 20 students. Over the summer, some students may move out, some may move in. We're not sure, but what we're looking to do at this point is we would like to request a bilingual teacher position if, in fact, the numbers stay where they are. We're not looking to necessarily hire right away, but we are looking. And if the numbers happen to decrease below 20, then we would not be hiring. But what we're asking for is that position to be available and approved, because it is a new position. So that it needs to be approved before we could even go look if we need to.
Is this the position that before when we needed one originally, that's one of the ones that's very hard to find someone?
Yes.
So is your request for us to go forward with this is so that if you do find someone, you can go ahead and grab that person without having to try to go that long search process?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Travellini, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Strong.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Johnson, for finding my notes. Regarding the president's day off and Lincoln's day off. We were contemplating taking both of those. I took a survey of 6 districts around us, and it's 4 districts are taking President's Day. Bloom just voted at their last meeting to take President's Day as opposed to Lincoln, and there's 2 districts that take Lincoln's birthday off. So we are right now at Lincoln, so we can either stay at Lincoln or we could go to President's, I mean, whatever the board pleasure is. But no district is taking both President and Lincoln.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be discussing that further in depth when we get to item 11. So that's why he was just giving everyone a heads up.
Okay.
Is there any more?
And then our 7th graders went to Springfield the 23rd of April, last week. And I just wanted to announce to the board, I think I mentioned to some of the board members, but the community could also. Our students that went did a fabulous job. They were respectful, they enjoyed themselves. We got raving reviews from restaurants. We got raving reviews from some of the people that were at the State House, at the state capitol, for the way the students conducted themselves, the questions that they asked. So I think we should all be proud of our students, and I think the teachers are doing a wonderful job. Mr. Strong and I met by phone with Mr. Holcomb, and he's the one of the vice presidents for Positive Connections. And he indicated that they're purchasing 59 new buses this year. And all buses will be on what they call a block plug-in, meaning that when the weather gets cold and below 0, they're going to keep the engines warm. What they had to do this winter was keep the engines running all night. So they had somebody there to make sure that they would be ready for us in the morning, because it was so cold. So he just wanted me to know what they're doing, and I just wanted to let you know how they're proactive with their plans for the future with us. Also, I think everybody got the information regarding Dr. Walter's party at Speed, which is in May. She will be leaving Speed, and she's going to be taking a superintendency in Kankakee. And at this time, that concludes my report.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Positive Connections, will that affect the contract or any finances or increase with us with their new move of keeping their engines speeding?
No.
Okay.
I'm just giving you the date.
Okay, what for Dr. Walters?
Friday, May 23rd.
Friday, May 23rd for Dr. Walters.
No, I did send that to
For those.
my last update, didn't I?
It should be in the update, so it should be in our update.
It should be in your update.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Travelini. Moving on to item 7, Director of Special Education, Mr. Johnson.
All right, good evening to the board. A few things, Devereaux training, we're up to par with our Devereaux training. Every school building have a good number of individuals that have been trained in our safe and positive approach to responding to crisis. Our Summer Explorers program is going to be kicked off again this summer for our special ed population. We're looking to host another, back on popular demand, roundtable discussion with our parents. They came and participated in the previous roundtable, and they made recommendations that we hold another discussion prior to the end of the school year. And then we're looking to start our really campaigning with our early intervention services for students who are at the age of 2 and 3, who are in need of specialized services prior to school. We want to make sure that we start targeting that population, getting them that early intervention services, and making sure that they're ready when it comes time for kindergarten. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, moving on, it's almost 6:30, so until then, we're going to move on to item 8, members of the general public. Comments are welcome, but will be limited to 3 minutes each. If we receive a phone call in from the video agency, we will pause so that we can go ahead and do the video conference. Also, just as a reminder, if you can please address your concerns to the chair. If there's something that school related, where the superintendent is able to answer, he will, or he'll get your information and get back with you at a later time. Also, as a reminder, even in reference to our board, the board does not engage the audience. So that's just a reminder for everyone. And once you stand, if you can state your name clearly for the record, and you have 3 minutes. Is there anyone? Mayor Hanks.
Board, I'd like to, again, David Hanks, Mayor Sauk Village. This last Wednesday, I had the opportunity to participate in Career Day at Rickover Junior High School. I'd like to thank the board, I'd like to thank the teachers. They did a fantastic job. They made us feel very welcome. I was in Mrs. O'Hara's class, so I had 4 different sessions with the youth, get to explain to them what the duties of the mayor is, and we opened it up to the floor, and I took all their tough questions. So, you know, if I ever get invited again, we'll have a different agenda. So, I think your young people have tougher questions than their parents do. So, but I had a great time, and I'd like to thank you for allowing me to come and be with the youth. So, you should be very proud of your teachers and the principals. They did a great job. Thank you.
Great, thank you, thank you for coming. Anyone else for speaking? Okay. We're going to move on to item 9. Seeing that we only speak once. I'd like to make a motion to enter into closed session at 6:30 p.m. regarding A, personnel, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Green.
Yes.
Ms. Howard.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Casali.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine.
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport.
Yes, motion passed. We are entering into closed session at 6:30 p.m.
That's something. Yes. Well, I didn't know today, but yes.
Sure, you got security behind you. You all right? And I'm playing clone security.
Board Member Casali, and then we'll move forward with our conversation. Okay, the person that recalls for the video for Sauk Village,
Quiet.
Put it back on night. Good night.
okay? I'd like to make a motion to return to open session with action to be taken at 7:36 p.m.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Howard.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Casali.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine.
Yes.
Mrs. Green.
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport.
Yes, motion passed. We have returned to open session at 7:36 p.m. Item 11, A, discussion of unfinished business and board action regarding honoring President's Day. Our superintendent has already given us the statistics of the surrounding areas, keeping in mind that we currently uphold Lincoln's birthday because he's land of the Lincoln, we're Illinois. That's kind of what the previous boards wanted. A lot of people are in school that kind of conflict with other schooling and filtering schools that work with us, and that's why we decided to look at President's Day. I know everything is pretty much shut down. You don't even get mail on President's Day. But it would be a choice at this point, just from listening to Superintendent Travelini, of doing an either or opposed to a both. But is there any discussion at this time? Mr. Casale?
Yeah, I think I've been here a little while, and this subject just keeps coming up. I'm the most senior board member here. Lincoln, this is the line of Lincoln. We can only take one or the other. So Lincoln is being the one that most people know. President's Day is everybody is president. And really, I would like for us to stay with Lincoln, to have that day off. And since we can have two, so I think that we should just continue the way we have it and continue to have Lincoln Day as the day off for the students.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to see us more in line with other school districts in the area, especially because we go over the Bloom Trail. To have multiple kids with different days off is an inconvenience for parents. And so I would say let's switch it to President's Day to align ourselves with the majority.
Vice President Jones. For me, we also have a school that filters into our district, which is Cedar Fort Heights. About 85 to 90% of their students are Sauk Village students. And this last spring, even spring break, a lot of times it's off. When we're off, they have school, and they have school, and it makes it kind of hard to juggle. So for me, I'm in alignment with President's Day. We're still not missing out on Lincoln because he still was a president also. So for me, I am in support of President's Day for that very reason, and to help out with the surrounding schools and babysitting and different things, helping out our parents. For me, it's helping our parents and looking out for them as important. Does anyone else have any discussion, comments, or questions? If not, item B, I'd like to make a motion to honor President's Day. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casale?
No.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. We will now, School District 168 will now honor President's Day opposed to Lincoln's birthday. Okay. Item C, discussion. Discussion of the hire and employment agreement for a new superintendent, Dr. Donna Simpson-Lee. Is there any discussion or comments that anyone would like to make at this time? Dr. Elamine.
I know that we did a lot of work to find a superintendent. We spent numerous hours. We hired an outside consulting team, and we asked very critical questions. So I feel very comfortable that we have done our homework on hiring a new superintendent. So I want to applaud the board and the very long nights that we put into this process. Regardless of the outcome of it, I know that we did our due diligence, and I feel very, very comfortable in that.
Is anyone else? Mr. Casale.
Well, I do not want to repeat the same thing that Dr. Alamin just said, so I'll be accused of tautology. I think that if the candidate that we are getting tonight is a friend to President Barack Obama, she is qualified to be this Secretary of Education. That's the highest level that I am very confident that selecting this person, this district is extremely lucky to have her. And where she was coming from, she helped increase the GPA and all that of that district. So I'm really very confident that we're really lucky to have this kind of person. Thank you.
Are there any more comments or discussion at this time? Before I call the motion, myself, we had a lot of candidates. We did not, as a board, we went through an agency, BWP and Associates. We had 45 applicants. We did not, as a board, get to see all of those applicants. We asked them to bring us the best of the best. We looked at 7 candidates. They were all great candidates with different skills. They would all bring different things to the district. And the interesting thing is that we are a board of 7. We are individually voters. We vote individually, which brings us with different perceptions and different views on what is the best, what's considered the best of the best, what's considered the most qualified. So I just, even in going forward and me calling out this motion, that be reminded that whatever, to always vote your conscience and to know that everybody's perception is different on the best of the best. Me personally, I have my personal views. I have the views of what I feel the children need. I have the opinion of what I believe our staff, stakeholders too, I haven't forgotten stakeholders, but what our staff needs and the importance of chemistry and a variety of things. So, but I do know one thing about me, that I love my board, I love my district, I am a stakeholder, I am a taxpayer, and I am a parent and a participating parent in the district. And based upon me saying that, no matter what the board decides to do, no matter which way the vote goes, me as a sitting president, as a sitting stakeholder, as a sitting parent, will work with whomever the majority of this board goes with, because that's who I am, that's what I do, and I still have to make sure that everything goes smoothly, no matter who it is, and everything goes well in our district. With that being said, I'd like to move on to item 11B. I'd like to make a motion to approve the hire of and oh, we're changing it? Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve the hire of an employment agreement for a new superintendent? That would be Dr. Donna Simpson.
I make a motion. I make a motion to approve the hire and employment agreement for the new superintendent, Dr. Donna Lee.
I second.
Mr. Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
No.
Mrs. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson? No. Dolores Green? Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
No. Motion passed. Just staff, thank you all for coming out. Everyone that's out, stakeholders, I would like to take this moment to introduce to you, to thank the board for the deliberation, to introduce to you our new Mr. I'd like to introduce to you our new sitting, about to be sitting, incoming superintendent, Dr. Donna Simpson Lee. If she can please come, and everyone can please.
I will be very brief. I will be very brief because I know you have a lot more of the meeting this evening. But I just want to say thank you very much, and I want to concur that this board has spent a great deal of time, energy, and efforts really to look out for the community, for the district, for the staff. The questions that they asked of me, the evidence I produced for them so that they could see that I'm about children. I'm about, number one, always making sure that every single child gets everything they need every day, and that our staff is supported to make that happen. So I am thrilled. When they asked me, one of the questions I talked about was creating this sort of destination education, where we talk about moving to Sauk Village so that you can get a quality education for your child, and then we partner with our high school districts so that we build bridges so that young people, when they leave Sauk Village District 1 68, they are living lives of success and significance and making a difference in this world. That's why I'm here, and I just want to say thank you. I look forward to working with you. Board, I'm very appreciative, and to our cabinet staff, I'm looking very much forward to working with you all, and to you, because I know that you hold so many of the pieces together. So thank you.
Moving on to item 12, discussion of new business and board action. Item A, consent agenda. Are there any questions, any discussion, anything for removal on consent agenda? No? If not, I'd like to make a motion.
Explaining just the process
We have tweaked our agenda, just so you know. This is Sue Glover, one of our attorneys. We tweaked the agenda, so we're doing things a little differently, so she's coaching along.
So the next step the board would need to take would be a motion to establish the consent agenda as presented, unless there are items that the board wishes to pull off and consider separately as a separate action item. So if the board is comfortable with the consent agenda as it is set forth here, the next action item would be a motion to establish the consent agenda as presented, and then once that is done, then you would do a motion to approve the consent agenda. Because first you have to establish it and accept it, then you approve it. Any questions procedurally how that will work?
Do you want a motion from us?
I can't make the motion. So it would be a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. If you are comfortable with all the items. If there is any item on the consent agenda that you wish to vote on individually and not part of the consent agenda, then you ask that that item be pulled.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Did you want that motion?
Yes.
Second?
Ms. Evans?
Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Consent agenda.
Yes, yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Now I'd like to make a motion to, item B, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item C, for discussion, to amend the public school calendar 2013 through 2014. Mr. Travellini? Explanation.
What we had to do is we had to add 4 days because we had the snow days, so we're going to June 10th. So we have to have a motion. And we had to do an amendment. We had to do an amendment and a motion. So that we can go ahead, it's already in my computer ready to go, and before I leave tonight, I can press the button and send it off and state where it goes in.
Are there any questions? Comments? Okay, I'm moving on to item D. I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended public school calendar reflecting the 4 emergency school days used during the 2013-2014 school year, making the last day of school June 10th, 2014.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item E, new bilingual teachers, Strasburg School, for discussion. That's what Mr. Strong referred to earlier in his report. Are there any further questions or discussion?
For clarification.
Yes, Mrs. Howard.
If you need a teacher, you're just gonna go ahead and hire, or is it gonna
Yes.
come back to us?
No, this would be approval to hire without coming to us because there's such a challenge in even finding someone. So they don't wanna have to wait to have a board meeting, to have a board meeting to do it. Is that what you said earlier?
Close, very close. But we still do a board hire sheet, just like we've always done a board hire sheet, and you will still receive that. So this is for the actual position to be created, so that we can be ready to go with.
So the position will be in place if needed, as needed.
And if needed, is the state law is how many students?
20.
Okay, so that's more of a creation, not an actual hire.
Correct.
Creation. Okay, so I just changed it on the
Okay,
agenda so
good.
that it would reflect that. Okay, are there any more questions? Mr. Casale?
Yeah, do we know the salary and all that stuff?
It will be on it's on the teacher's schedule, teacher salary schedule. So it depends if they have a master's degree, how many credits they have. It's in the contract, it's board negotiated with the union.
So now that this is coming up, you know, we already done the budget.
We have this.
What effect is that gonna have?
That would be for the upcoming school year budget,
2014,
2015.
Oh, 2014, 2015. Not the one that we already took care of, 2013, 2014.
Correct.
2014, 15.
That's correct. So it'll be the new school year.
New school year. Starting school in August.
Oh, yeah, in August.
Very tired.
And,
Mrs. Strong.
yeah, that's only if we have the 20 students.
Correct, yes.
Yes, Mr.
The rationale is, if we hit 20 students and say it's October 1st, if we have to wait 2-3 weeks, if we have a board meeting where we get approval or have a special meeting. Now, when we hit that, we can immediately go into motion and look for a person and get the ball rolling and not let it wait like we had in the past. Well, in the past, we had a hard time finding someone, but I think we have a different line now, so.
Mr. Casale?
Yeah, Mr. Strong, when we will know this? Time of registration or what, because some students will be moving in and out and all that?
Correct.
Is,
If we have higher numbers at the end of school and early registration that we try to do during the summer, then we will know at that time. But if we don't have the numbers yet, then we may have to wait until August.
are we able to get any money from the government for this? Like special grants and stuff?
Lots of thoughts going through my mind right now, but
Yeah, that's what I
that's how
want
we
you to
get all our
do.
money
I
to
want
the
you to put
government.
something for you to think about. Because we already have.
Right.
So that's why I'm
There is
looking for
money
money
through No Child
anyway.
Left Behind, but we do not get the Title III grant at this time.
Okay.
And that is for bilingual. But our population isn't there yet. It depends on the state whether they're going to award us that or not, and they have not yet done it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I like item F, I like 12F, I'd like to make a motion to approve the creation of a new bilingual teacher for Strasburg Elementary School if needed.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casale?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Graham?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. We're still on item 12G. The authorization to bid for lawn service contract, lawn maintenance service contract. Are there any questions on the authorization to go out for bid? Mr. Casale?
I remember that a few months ago, the company that we have right now, the contract was not renewed, and the majority of the board decided that they are going to do it, the district is going to do it. So what changed? Why are we now going to put out a bid for lawn care of this?
We had 4 maintenance men one retired, we did not replace him. The one that retired was the person that was going to be cutting the grass. So when he retired, we did not replace him. We did not have personnel to do the lawn service.
So the person that retired, how much was that person making? Because the lawn business, as far as I know, is going to be 20-something thousand. Maybe you can replace that person with less money, and since you guys have in your mind that you want somebody to be cutting the grass, which I know is a lot of work, how about that?
Upper 30s is what he was making.
He had multiple duties, not just cutting grass.
No, he would do it. He was a maintenance man.
Right.
He was maintenance.
Yeah.
Did the district buy any equipment for
Nope,
this
we
park?
did not. We did not. When we knew he was gonna retire, we did not want to jump in and we weren't gonna buy something. We had all those months to make a decision, and I'm happy now that that's the position that we took. We wanted to wait and see. So we did not purchase any equipment. So that's another thing we definitely purchase equipment.
Thank you. I agree with Board Member Casali. We did discuss this and said that we would try to negotiate that duty onto the other duties of maintenance. And so I'd like to see us actually try to do what we discussed doing before putting something out for bid.
My comment is, like I said, the agenda comes out 2 weeks in advance, so for me, thank you for doing the homework on it. And one thing, I just want to commend you on doing the work, and I know that we agree is where we're supposed to look at things, and we have questions given to you in advance, so we don't surprise you, because, and board, I would like to recommend you guys, to you all, when we do have things on the agenda, if you can get back to myself, to the chair, or to the superintendent, so that we can relook at it or reword things and kind of fit things in. I vaguely remember that, I believe you did, I vaguely remember saying, let's do it on our own, but he could have done a little homework or kind of got some more pricing even on equipment and kind of brought it to us so that we don't have to delay so far and take up board meeting time, this meeting for discussion, and then next month take up again so that we can see how much it's gonna cost. Because now at this point, we're gonna need to know how much equipment and things are gonna cost, how much it'll cost to get a person to actually do it. And so it'll kind of help expedite some of the decisions and the things that we make. So I'd like to request, Mr. Casali.
Well, as somebody that's been in Sauk Village for close to 20 years, I've been paying attention to everything that's going on in the village and on the school board. I think that I don't want to waste time, because the reason why we have the lawyer sitting over there is to make sure that proper procedure is followed. There's been 3 board presidents before. We never had somebody sitting right next to the board president. Mary was president before. So all that of calling or sending email ahead of time and all that kind of stuff, people have work to do. We have a professor amongst us that have to grade and all that kind of stuff. That's not always possible to do. So sometimes you're gonna get the questions right there at the meeting. So we are cautious of what you said, but at the same time, do not, expect that that's gonna happen all the time.
I don't expect it to happen all the time. I'm glad you made that statement. That is true. We do also have a board agreement where the board has prepared that we keep up here in case anyone forgets or needs to relook at it at any time. It's right next to the Robert's Rules, where the board agreed to make sure that they read their information and get their questions in. That was something that the board did, not me. As president, my job is to follow the rules of the board agreement and the Robert's Rules. So that's what I do. That's why I made the statement. If you're not able to, but on a regular basis, I was just saying, let's try to do better at it, not saying it'll never happen. As far as the authorization, it's only requesting to give the authorization to go out to bid, to get numbers, to get things. It's not actually asking to hire someone or to hire an agency. It's just as they would get information on how much it'll cost to get equipment and hire an employee, it would also be versus how much it will cost right now if we go out to bid, so when it comes back. So at this point, when it comes back to the board, correct me if I'm wrong, when it comes back to the board, we'll see both sides. How much it'll cost if we hire someone outside at this point in day and age, and how much it'll cost if we do go forward with what the board recommended, which is to do on our own. Am I correct, Mr. Trevor?
Correct.
Thank you. Dr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Board Member Casale, for bringing that up in discussion, because that's something that I had forgotten, and you jogged my memory. So I do appreciate you bringing that up to the board at this time.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions or discussion on the authorization for bidding? At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the authorization to bid for lawn maintenance service contract as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casale?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Amin?
No.
Mrs. Green?
I have a question before I tell my vote.
Are we?
Technically, it should have a discussion, but it.
Okay. So in the future, guys, when we have a discussion right away, and because we're voting right away, we have to have our discussion beforehand. So once we actually call the names, we won't interrupt them in this case, because this is new, the agenda is new. We're gonna move forward per our attorney.
So we're gonna get both? We're gonna get
Yes.
both?
Yes.
To see how much it costs for hiring a person, rehiring people to do it versus hiring an outside company to do it?
If this
Among
motion
service.
passes, if this motion passes, we'll get both. If it fails, then we won't get both. We'll just have to know how much the equipment it is and how much it's cost to hire somebody. We won't be able to see the option if it fails.
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item 12I, yeah, and this is again the similar situation, authorization to bid for milk service contract.
So moved.
Are there any discussion? This is conversation again, and it's similar to the lawn service one. Board Member Green.
Didn't we just do a contract last year? I mean, not last year, but
On the
previous to
on the
this.
milk service contract?
Exactly.
Mr. Chevrolet, would you like to go into detail?
Go with Mike.
Okay.
My business manager.
We bid the milk contract 4 years ago. We do have another year where we could renew. However, I'm asking the board if we can go to bid, because we do have another milk company who has expressed desire to bid for the milk contract. And due to some concerns I have with the current milk company, that's the reason I put it up to ask them to bid.
Because we only had that one, correct?
We only
We only had that one company, the milk company.
Yes, we only have one company, and if you're speaking of the last time we bid it, which was 4 years ago, there was only one company that bid it for a milk contract.
Mr. Casale.
Yeah, if it's not too much, Mrs. Williams, you said you have concern about the milk company. If I may ask if it's okay, if it's not gonna get us in a lawsuit or whatever, you know what I mean? What is your concern? I have 4 kids in the district that is drinking milk.
Service issues.
Are they overbilling us? Are
No, I
they
wouldn't say
not so
overbilling.
good? The milk is not cold enough? What's really going on?
The one time when the milk was not cold enough, that was not the company's issue. It was a company with the refrigeration unit door being left open. So no, I wouldn't say that was an issue with that company. There were some other service issues where, for example, I can say, where it was in the winter time and there was a lot of snow, and the driver did not want to deliver the milk to the inside because he didn't feel that the area was safe enough for him to bring the milk in, and he left the milk outside the door. It was winter, it was, freezing outside. Our maintenance guy, someone in that area, custodian or someone, did, take that milk and put it in the correct area.
So the person that brought the milk, did they talk to him why they left the milk there? Is it because nobody answered the door? Or why would we leave
He
the
did
milk?
not feel that it was, the area was appropriately maintained or clean, snow removed in a manner where he wanted to look in.
And that's our duty to make sure that there's safe passage. And somebody did not do their job, did not clean the snow, and the milkman left the milk right there. And that's why we couldn't fire them.
Well, not necessarily firing. As I say, the other part of the contract we put here is that when we bid a contract, we can renew that contract up to 5 years if we so desire. If another company expresses an interest in bidding that contract, then we should open it up for that company to be able to bid.
This would not preclude you from extending your contract for an additional year or awarding them an additional new contract. It just allows the district to compare prices and product.
Is this to be done at the last year of the contract or in the middle of the contract? Is that when?
It's not, you're not, my understanding is, in this, I haven't seen the contract, but my understanding is you're not in the middle of the contract. You are at the end of the contract. The contract does have the option for a 1-year extension, but it is not part of the initial contract term. The initial contract term is 4 years with a 1-year renewal period. That can be or cannot be, or the board can either choose to exercise it or not choose to exercise it. There is nothing requiring you to exercise that 1-year option. You may choose to, or you may choose not to. So this would just allow you to compare options.
Right, and it's to our best interest if there's another company who's interested in bidding the contract, then we may get a better price than what we have now.
That new company, did that company reach out to us or we reach out to them?
No, they reach out to us. Companies reach out all the time to say, put us on your bid list. We would like to be considered for bidding your particular contract, whatever that is.
Yeah, I just wanted to know that because I do the same thing. I reach out to companies that I want to do business with. Thank you.
Are there any more questions or conversations? If not, I'd like to make a motion to approve the authorization to bid for milk service contract as presented.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Delamere?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item 12K, again, we're discussing authorizations only. Authorization to sell the district's 2002 Chevy school bus valued at $5,500 or best offer. The value at $5,500 or best offer. Is there any discussion, Mr. Casali?
Yeah, I do arrive at that 5,500 because I didn't see anything here. And I also would like to know what is the process of selling the car? Is it going to be a bid? Do they already have somebody in mind they want to sell it to? What is really going on?
I'd like to refer that to Mrs. Williams.
The value was arrived at conversation with 2 companies. The company that we purchased the new bus from and Positive Connections to get their feedback on what would be a good starting price for the bus. And your other question is how will we advertise it? It's, I would like to have it advertised in the newspaper and also to be posted in different businesses around the district. And the superintendent had also recommended that we post a sign on the bus in an area that would be really visible to passersby.
Real busy.
Yeah, in a busy area.
So nobody thought about maybe people can bid for it online or take it to the auction?
No. Any more discussion? If not, I'd like to move on to item L, I'd like to make a motion to approve the authorization to sell District 2002 Chevy school bus value at $5,500 or best offer as presented. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll? God bless you.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item B, 12B, the approval of tentative amended budget for fiscal year 2013 through 2014. Again, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Williams, our business manager.
The reason for amending the budget is to align the budget with the changes we made since the initial approval, which was back in September. Mainly it's because of the bond sale, which allowed us to transfer monies from the working cash and debt service fund over to the education fund. So it's mainly just to align and change those and to include those in the budget.
Any questions, discussion? Mr. Casali?
Are we aligned with the current budget, how things are going with the budget we have now?
As far as whether we are on
We are
target at the
target.
end of it.
Are we spending too much? Are we spending too low? Are we okay?
At the beginning of the year, we did show, I think at that point it was projected as a $3.4 million deficit. I think we're running below that at this point, but we're not, we're still running a deficit.
We're still running a deficit. And that's gonna go into next year.
Potentially going to next year.
And it's gonna get to be more, because if we are minus, whatever. About 3.4, how much do you think is gonna be close to that? 3.4?
Right now, and this is really tentative because there are still some revenues that are not booked yet and we have not received yet. But right now, at last look, and that would be according to the, so according to the March position statement, I would say we're someplace close to about $2 million. $2 million. And that's definitely a projection.
Are there any more discussion on the amended budget? For me, I think that the board play a major role in the deficit also, outside of trusting you and the superintendent, the business manager, the superintendent, and finding ways to cut. We have an opportunity as a board to cut in areas that is important for us to really take. I would recommend that the board, we take some of the actions that we take very much more seriously. There have been times when we've been able to cut some monies or cut some things or trim some things, and we did not, so it kind of, and we can have a better grasp while we're asking the staff to, hey, we need you to trim, we need you to meet. So I know that we're playing a major role. It's important even for me to really, really make sure that I'm really looking at things when we're approving things, when we're looking at things, that I just wanted to give that recommendation to us, some of the things that we do that we are approving to help out with that which you're already trying to trim as much as possible. I know we just did the rift and different things like that, so.
That would really reflect on next year's.
It would reflect in that, okay. There's no other comment. I'd like to move to item 12, N. I'd like to make a motion to approve the tentative amended budget for fiscal year 2013-2014 as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamine?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. Item 12O, discussion of approval of a resolution to include compensation paid under an Internal Revenue Code Section 125 plan as IMRF earnings. Mr. Travellini, would you like to elaborate?
We're going to reflect that to business manager.
I lost my page, but there was an audit of our IMRF, which is Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, for non-certified employees retirement fund. And in that audit, it was determined that there were some, well, let me just go back. The Illinois Service Section 125 has to do with employee benefits that are withheld from a portion of salary on a pre-tax basis. Basically, it's mostly insurance premiums. And there are some other things that fall under that code. The auditor found that when we report salaries to the IMRF fund, some of those pre-tax monies were included in that compensation as reported to them, which affects the retirement funds for employees. There's a statute that also allows the district to, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling because I lost my point on here with my little spiel. Can't find it. Okay, thank you. Oh, wait. IMRF performed an audit reconciliation for gross wages of 2013. And as a result of that reconciliation, it noticed that the district was not exempting the IRS Code Section 125 plans. The district was not able to provide an adopted resolution to support the action. The IMRF and the IRS Code allows the district to go back at least 4 years and make adjustments. We went back and we found that it would not be worth the time to try and go back through all of the records for all the employees for more than 4 years. Therefore, IMRF allows us to do a resolution which we were unable to find. There may have been a resolution done some time ago, but we were not able to locate it. And since we didn't have a copy of it, that means we had to do it again. So that's the purpose for doing this resolution. It aligns us so that the board do the resolution and say, okay, you can include those pre-tax earnings in the IMRF reports.
Mr. Casaro.
Mrs. Williams, what does this mean to us? Does it just mean that we owe the employees some money?
It does not mean that we owe the employees any money. It strictly has to do with the way the calculations are done on their retirement funds in the IMRF plan.
You just said some adjustment has to be made.
Well, if we were going to go back and adjust, then we would adjust the compensation reports that's been reported to IMRF for years back. When that was reported years back. So let's say, in this particular case, an employee, their earnings were $33,000 in that particular year. And maybe $25 of that was because they had some pre-tax medical expenses. But when we reported to the IMRF, it was reported $33,025 instead of just $33,000 basic salary. So we would have to go back and re-report to IMRF and say, oh, it wasn't $33,025, we should have reported $33,000. And we would have to go back to, actually, what she said was the inception of the district. But we could do it for 4 years.
So, in other words, the state is allowing us to go back 4 years. It's either we overstated or understated what they earn. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. For purposes of pension, yes.
So for purposes of pension, we have overstated a lot of the reporting that was done to them.
Exactly.
So we have to make the adjustment to make sure that they get the right money.
What this resolution is allowing the district to do is to say, you do not have to go back and make any adjustments as long as the board says a resolution, say it's okay that those earnings are reported?
Well, I would think that the best thing to do is to make sure we make the adjustments for as many years as they give us to make the adjustment. We made the mistake. We now overstating the salary of these people, of these hard-working employees, and a lot of them are supposed to be home already, and they're still here sitting with us. So I think it's our fault. We have to fix it.
But it's not a disadvantage to the employees. No. It's actually an advantage to the employee.
I don't know if this will help.
But when they are withdrawing the money,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if this will help or not, but I dealt with this issue for other districts. And under IMRF,
yes.
if the board chooses to adopt this resolution will permit the board to include monies that are withheld for Section 125 plans as part of the creditable earnings for the employee for pension purposes. If you do not adopt the resolution, then that additional money is not permitted to be included to the reporting of the to IMRF of the creditable earnings. So what this does is by adopting this resolution, which the board may or may not have done in the past. It sounds like we can't find our.
No.
Well,
I've been here going to 7 years.
Okay, so if you, by adopting this, the board is permitted to include as creditable earnings for that employee's pension purposes, any monies that the employee chooses to withhold for Section 125 purposes. And as Mrs. Williams said, 125 most commonly is used, Section 125 funds are most commonly used for paying the employee's portion of their insurance premiums. So what this does is bring the district in line with what it has reported. It makes sure, it provides the backup paperwork for the district to do that. Without this, the district would then have to go back and make all those salary adjustments to remove that.
Right. Dr. Amin?
So was this an error on our part?
Yes.
I would say yes.
And so what do we have in place now so that this does not occur again? What changes have we made systemically so that it does not occur again?
Well, the resolution would put us on the right track.
We're on the right track, but 4 or 5 years from now.
Oh, I get what you're saying. No, our system now, again, Infinite Vision has it in there where we can remove those funds and it would not be reported incorrectly.
Okay, so it was the system that we had in place before that was giving us these errors, and we replaced that system. Is that correct or no?
Well, it's been so many years, I don't know if it was necessarily the system. I would say that maybe part of it, but in part, I would say it was user too. It was just not having the knowledge to know that those funds were not supposed to be reported.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President, one more question, please. How often is this audit?
It's the first, I believe, for the district. Or, the auditor who came here had been with the service for I think between 10 and 12 years, and in her record, she's never shown that the district has been audited. Now, if an audit occurred before that, she did not have the records for it.
But we do have an internal auditor. Is that part of their job to take a look at how our bookkeeping and reporting is done?
Yeah, I asked that question too, and what she said was that there could have been an assumption made, or there could have been, is what the auditor thought, is that there really was a resolution done sometime way in the past, and that's the reason it was set up in the system that way. Because a resolution would have allowed the district to go and do just what the district is doing now. So her assumption is that there was probably so many years ago a resolution that was passed that allowed the district to do that.
But the auditor we have now, I am aware that this auditor has been in the district for more than 5 years, and we can try to find out. I'm sure that they have insurance for malpractice. If there's anything that they've done that they did not do properly, because we've been paying them over maybe 25, 26, 30,000 or something, because in my own opinion, and from my own professional experience, I think that lies on their lap for not catching that. Because they're supposed to audit us and see that we're doing things correctly. And they couldn't catch that with all the money that they're getting. So I think we should look into that and see if there's something, somebody dropped the ball somewhere.
If we could just take a moment and allow, we have Mrs. Glover here, our attorney,
There's a difference between an IMRF audit, to get to your point, Mr. Casali, and your audit for the state of what your auditor is looking for is whether your books line up, whether they're doing spot checks because they can't, are the checks properly approved, are the processes, and your auditor is not necessarily. I would be surprised if your auditor would pick up this IMRF, because that's why the IMRF does the resolution or does their audits. So it's a different type of audit. Now certainly it's worth asking the question of your auditor, but I would strongly suspect that is not something that would be charged with the district's auditor, because that auditor focuses on the internal processes of the district and whether those are being followed, as opposed to the IMRF reporting requirements, whether the IMRF calculations are correct. That's IMRF's duty to do.
Yeah, Madam President, if I can request for the auditor's contract, so I can review it myself and see what they are supposed to do and not supposed to do. Because I think that I understand what our attorney says, but the thing is, we have an internal auditor that is supposed to let us know where we need to tighten the screws and make sure that we're doing things properly. So if you don't mind, if that would be okay, I would love it, because every time we get sensitive stuff, we gotta get rid of it, shred it, and all that stuff. But for me to really confirm what the lawyer just said, I think I'd like to see that.
Okay, we have all no, so that actual information will be forwarded to all board members. We'll make sure we get that forwarded out to all board members for your review. And I'd like to move on to item 4 and make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution to include compensation paid under an Internal Revenue Code Section 125 plan as IMRF earnings as presented. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
I abstain.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamy?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. I'd like to make a motion to enter into closed session for the purpose of A, personnel, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. Also, I'd like to make discussion of lawfully closed meeting minutes, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes, or by active review of the minutes as mandated by section 2.06, pursuant to the 120/2C21 of the Open Meetings Act at 8:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson, yes. Dr. Elamy?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes, motion passed. We are entering into closed session at 8:30 p.m.